T1C Licensing. Classes, call sign systems, FCC regulation areas, database requirements, license terms and renewal, grace period, and international communications. There are 11 questions in this section. For which classes of amateur radio license does the FCC currently issue new licenses? The answer is D, technician, general, and amateur extra. The FCC currently issues new licenses only for technician, general, and amateur extra classes. Novice and advanced classes are no longer issued to new applicants, though existing holders may renew them. Technician Plus was a past designation that has been folded into Technician. Who may select a desired call sign under the vanity call sign rules? D. Any licensed amateur. Any licensed amateur may apply for a vanity call sign. Even entry-level technician licensees can choose a vanity call sign, though there are more restrictions on the formats available to technicians compared to amateur extra class operators. What types of international communications are FCC licensed amateur radio stations permitted to make? The answer is A. Communications incidental to the purpose of the amateur radio service and remarks of a personal character. Amateur stations may make international contacts only when those communications are incidental to the purposes of the amateur radio service or are remarks of personal character. Business communications are prohibited. Amateur radio is a non-commercial service. What may happen if the FCC is unable to reach you by email? The answer is B. Revocation of the station license or suspension of the operator license. If the FCC cannot reach you by email, you risk revocation of your license or suspension of your operator license. Maintaining a current, valid email address with the FCC is a licensee's responsibility under the current rules. Which of the following is a valid technician class call sign format? And the answer is A. KF1XXX. KF1XXX follows the valid 2x3 call sign format, 2-letter prefix, single digit, and 3-letter suffix that is typical for technician class licensees. Other formats like 1x3, 2x2, or 1x2 are generally reserved for higher class vanity calls. From which of the following locations may an FCC licensed amateur station transmit? And the answer is C. From any vessel or craft located in international waters and documented or registered in the United States. An FCC licensed amateur may transmit from any vessel or craft in international waters that is documented or registered in the United States. When in foreign countries, you generally need permission from that country's administration to operate. Which of the following can result in revocation of the station license or suspension of the operator license? And the answer is B. Failure to provide and maintain a correct email address with the FCC. Failure to provide and maintain a correct email address with the FCC can result in license revocation or suspension. The FCC now uses email as its primary means of communication with licensees, making this a critical administrative requirement. What is the normal term for an FCC-issued amateur radio license? The answer is B, 10 years. An FCC amateur radio license is normally granted for 10-year terms. After 10 years, you must renew your license. The renewal process does not require retaking the exam. It is an administrative renewal. What is the grace period for renewal if an amateur license expires? The answer is C, 2 years. If your amateur license expires, you have a 2-year grace period during which you may renew it. However, you may not transmit during the grace period until the license is actually renewed. After 2 years, the license is canceled and you must retest. How soon after passing the examination for your first amateur radio license may you transmit on the amateur radio bands? The answer is A. As soon as your operator station license grant appears in the FCC license database. You may begin transmitting as soon as your license grant appears in the FCC ULS database. This typically happens within a few business days of passing the exam, after the VEC processes and submits your application to the FCC. If your license has expired and is still within the allowable grace period, may you continue to transmit on the amateur radio bands? The answer is D. No, you must wait until the license has been renewed. No, even though you have a 2-year grace period to renew, you may not transmit until the license has actually been renewed. The grace period only preserves your ability to renew without retesting. It does not authorize transmission. Key takeaways from T1C Licensing. 3 current licenses: Technician, General, and amateur extra. License term is 10 years with a 2-year grace period for renewal. No transmitting during grace period. You may transmit as soon as your call sign appears in the FCC ULS database. Any licensed amateur can apply for a vanity call sign. Maintaining a valid email address with the FCC is critical, and failure can mean license revocation. FCC licensed stations can transmit from U.S. registered vessels in international waters.